It seems like anime games are synonymous with either being terrible or being barely passable, or they lend themselves well to being visual novels with dating aspects. And DanMachi, or Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, seems to lend itself to the latter. Is it good though? Let's get into it. Before we kick off this video, I want to let you guys know that I did receive a review copy of this game, so shout out to the publisher for providing me the review copy. I'm not in any way paid anyway to give it a good or positive review, whatever. I just need to let you guys know it is federal regulation for us creators to let you guys know. So that being said, that out the way, DanMachi. I'm gonna be honest, I have never watched the anime. I have not read the manga, so I literally have gone into this game with absolutely no background into the series. Now, someone who does enjoy it would be Lehua Superfina. If you haven't already, check out her content. She streams on Twitch and she also does YouTube content as well. I'll leave a link to her channel up here and in the description down below. She's very, very into that. She also covers, I think she covers it on her podcast too. So Podcast Across Worlds. So that, again, down the link. I personally have no familiarity with it. So when the publisher reached out to me and they were like, hey, Mikhail, would you like to review this? I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, it looks visually appealing. It looks like something I would definitely get into. I like anime. I just haven't gotten around to it. And kind of for me, I'm one of those people that prefers like the old school anime versus like a lot of the modern day stuff. There's a couple of things I like Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Rise of the Shield Hero. Like I like those, but like other than that, I haven't really dived into anything more hardcore than that. Like I'm still stuck with Rurouni Kenshin, Cowboy Bebop, you know, Samurai Champloo, Furikuri, and that. Like that's where I'm at. I'm the late 90s, early 2000s anime kid watching, you know, from like the Toonami era and Adult Swim era. So yeah, again, no familiarity with it. So this is just going to be a straight up raw review where I'm just telling you my brutally honest thoughts on it. Is it good or is it bad? We're going to get into that. But before we do, let you guys know I'm Mikhail Casanova, Hawaii content creator, host of Hawaii's #1 podcast, as well as the #1 podcast in the Pacific, the Casanova Podcast. Brand new episodes every week. So catch me on all major platforms. Doesn't matter what it is, just look up Casanova Podcast and there we are. I also stream every single week on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Mikhail Casanova. So I hope to see you guys over there. And my plug's out the way, plus my social media links right here. We're gonna go ahead and get into this review. Wish me luck. DanMachi takes place in the city of Orario. I hope I said that right. Where gods come down to seek excitement, limiting their divine powers to perceive and experience the hardships that thrives on the lower world, offering mortals to fight monsters sorted in an underground labyrinth known as dungeon adventurers, which visit the dungeon to defeat monsters and take their crystal shards, which are used to craft magic items among other treasures. However, they can also be exchanged for the world's currency. The people of Orario join groups called Familia, who serve a range of functions from dungeon crawling to crafting items. Each Familia is named after and serves a resident deity, and in fashion similar to role-playing games, the adventurers are grouped into levels, increasing their levels and abilities according to their achievements. This is much of the story that I'm going to be diving into. There's a lot more. It's just either watch the manga, or read the manga, watch the anime, or play the game. There's a whole lot more. So there's two styles of gameplay here: visual novel and dungeon crawling. The visual novel aspect of the game is very much by the book, as the story only unfolds in these areas as it covers the events of the mangas. There really isn't much for you to do in the visual novel section other than continuing the conversation and the rare occasion where you have the opportunity to select a dialogue choice. You can do upgrades to your stats and equipment, but that's about it. You know, outside of the dungeons, aside from the dating mechanics incorporated in the game, which are neat if you're into that kind of thing, the second half of gameplay, that's the dungeon crawling. The dungeon crawling, it's incredibly bare bones. in every sense of the word, and with you doing nothing more than running from point A to B and get a key item and killing a certain amount of enemies, all of which wouldn't be a bad thing if it wasn't for the fact that when you attack, you commit to the action. And you can't move out of the way with the fact that enemies don't have any stun frames, so you'll end up getting them in one stun animation, of which they will immediately come out of and start attacking you. So the tactic you have to take is to attack them and then do your backflip and then get out of the way, then rinse and repeat and go back and attack again. It's not at all a deep combat system, just so you guys know. You control Belle, Eyes, and other characters, and honestly they all play the same with little to no differences at all, other than cut in special attacks. Moving around in dungeons is fine with no delay, and you have your triple attack, which has you stuck in the attack animation, a backflip, a dash, and that's about it. With such limited gameplay, it should be a lot better than what it is. So actually, one of the things I was expecting it to be like is playing like the E series, because I think if they took that core concept of, you know, dungeon crawling and grinding and, you know, just hack and slash, I think it would have served better for this style of game, and then incorporate the visual novel aspects. But that's just my opinion. Now, graphically, the game's graphics are two-pronged in that you have the visual novel animated stills with voiceover sections and the actual dungeon crawling sections, which look very simple to the point of looking like they were made on, you know, in the PS1 era. The model is incredibly low poly with no texture details, with dungeons looking incredibly bare bones with, again, low poly textures. The thing that gets me is why is so little effort went into the game's graphics, especially when this is a series that is dearly loved by fans. You'd think more effort would be put into this game, and the way that Bandai Namco does their anime games would inspire this company to, you know, put more into this, because let's face it, Bandai Namco kind of has all the anime properties that, you know, when they make these anime games, even if they're basic or if they're pretty in depth, they still are better made than what went into this, which is a shame. It's just incredibly disappointing that the game looks the way it does. Outside of the game's terrible dungeon crawling graphics or the cutscene stills, which they look great, but if you play any other visual novel style game, then you know what to expect with the presentation that's offered here. You're not going to get any type of anime cutscenes. You're going to get stills that move and shake and vibrate and jiggle, and yeah, it's a typical anime visual novel style game. Audio wise, yeah, what audio? Aside from generic dungeon music and superb voice acting in Japanese, yeah, we're moving on. There's nothing to talk about here. Downsides is the game is only redeemed by a story, as other than that, this is honestly not a good game. And then you have to deal with the grammatical errors, which are the same as the original Japanese release that you could get from PlayAsia, which Lehua Superfina did, and there's literally no difference between that version and the one that just got localized. Like, there's nothing else was done to make it better or look or sound better. It's just, I hate saying it, it's a lazy effort. And let's wrap it up. The only reason I would recommend this game would be if you want to experience a good story, but even in that, I'd steer you towards the manga and anime and away from this game, as it's just not a good game. Terrible gameplay in the dungeon sections, numerous grammatical errors, terrible graphics, and occasionally unresponsive controls have this sitting at being a game that is hard for me to recommend to anyone save for fans of the franchise. It's not a game for those expecting to run into it for a normal dungeon crawling experience, but if you're willing to take a chance and want to experience a fun story, then this will be a lot of fun for you, as I did enjoy my time with it to an extent. But let's just be honest, this is it's not for everyone. Even for the few people that it is for, I would say wait till it's like you know, on sale. Like if it's like 15 or 10 or, let's be honest, $5. It's really not a great game. It looks like it's a mobile game or a PS1 game, and they could have done more with it, so I'm disappointed. But that's a review for DanMachi, also known as Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? That's a long title. Yeah. So shout out to PQ for the review copy of the game. I appreciate it. This just was not a very great game. Hopefully, if you guys make another one, you can take what didn't work in this one and improve upon it. Keep what did work in this one, and and improve upon it, and then go back from there. So other than that, yeah, thank y'all for the review copy. It's just story-wise is great, but it sucks as a game. So what do you guys think? Do you guys have a copy of DanMachi? I guess I'm not going to say is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon. More than that, I'm just going to call it DanMachi. Do you have DanMachi? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you love the anime or the manga? Do you prefer that to this game? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going in the comment section below. And with that being said, if you guys want to join an amazing Discord community, we have links to that down in the description below. So video gamers, content creators, gaming industry people, and more are in there. So links in the description. If you're looking for a new podcast to check out, catch Hawaii's #1 podcast and the #1 podcast in the Pacific, the Casanova podcast, available on all podcasting outlets. And we have so much that we cover on that show. With that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope to see you later on, probably on twitch.tv/MikhailCasanova. I know it's a final plug, but hopefully I get to see you over there. With that being said, guys, deuces wild, too sweet, be the elite. I'll see you on the next one. So you made it to the end of the video, and I really want to say mahalo for making it to the end, or malo as we say in Samoan, for making it to the end of the video. It means a lot to me that you've done so, and I hope that if you made it this far that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I want you to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already if you want more content like this. We've got not only video game reviews, we've got podcasts, we've got all kinds of content. Like there's a whole lot that I could dive into. But there's a whole lot here, and I really want to thank you guys for coming through and for sticking through to this part of the video. So again, thank you. Mahalo. Mahalo. Like, share, comment, and join our community. So that being said, thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.